So today I'm gonna explain how I skin beaver tails. I have a whole pile of them over here, already skinned. And I'm gonna take this one and skin it out. So first I take my scalpel blade. I'm gonna cut the edge right down the entire edge of the beaver tail. And I come to the edge here. And I'm just cutting a little bit through, almost like scoring it, but you have to be really careful on the thin parts here. I'm going to work all the way around. Now some people split beaver tails down the back and then flatten it all out into a really large piece, but I'm doing a lot of them and I don't need them to be that large, so and then I flip it over. I'm going to do this side. So I separate them into two halves. And it takes a little less time. Some scoring. Kind of went a little bit on that side on this one. So yeah, the ends are very thin, and so it's kind of hard to get it perfectly straight along that edge, but try the best you can. Alright, so I got a score mark along the whole edge. So I'm going to take my bigger knife and I'm going to cut it all the way up to the bone. But I'm not going to go down where it gets really thin. Just there. Flip it over. Do this one. And you can feel it. My knife is here. Then I'm going to go on this side of the tailbone. And I'm just going to start peeling it back a bit. So you have a bone running right through the middle here. And beaver tails actually have a skinny little bone, which you wouldn't tell from the outside. So I come up here and I'm going to work my way around the bone. Just like that. And then I'm going to start cutting it off. It's better to leave a little more material on there. Work along the bone a little bit. So I go about this far down. Now I have two halves and the bone with all the cartilage and stuff. And I take a rag because it's slippery and grab this side, another rag, and I hold this side, and I'm going to pull the tail off of the bone. And because I scored the edges, it rips cleanly. Sometimes pretty good there at the tip. So there's that side. Then I take the other side. And then again, I'm going to hold the bone and pull the tail off. If I try pulling the tail off, it's going to break all the little bones and then they're going to be stuck on there. And you have to cut them off. So hold the tail. And pull the tail, hold the bone. And there we go. Took it mostly all the bones. Now that's just tendons left. So now we have a tailbone. So the tailbone's actually a long, skinny bone. There. Okay, now I have all this stuff that has to come off. So for when you want to tan it. So I'm gonna work my knife flat along here, so it's easier if I'm on an edge. If I'm here, it's hard to get my hand flat. So put on the edge of the table, and you can work it flatter. Now, this isn't the sharpest knife, so I'm a little less likely to cut right through. I'm just sliding along the way. So I'm gonna get underneath all these things.
And the reason why you pull it with rags is because then it doesn't slip right through your hands.
Yeah. That's very slippery and gooey. So I have this needs to come up. I'll move it to the edge again. So, there's actually two different types of beavers, genetically different beavers in PEI. And you can tell them apart by their tails. So one of the types of beaver, have a long, skinnier tail, even though it could be a full-size beaver. The other one has a wider, broader tail. So I'm going to look through my pile and show you the two different types.
You're not talking about a muskrat, are you?
No.
So it's a different type of beaver.
Yeah, so beavers were eradicated almost out of PEI one time, and so they introduced new ones. But there were still some left of the original. So some of the beavers are the imported ones, and some are the original native beavers. So there we go, and we can clean that up a little bit more. I'm going to use my flushing machine, so that's about as far as you'd want to do it, but you can work at this, getting a little bit more, and then move on to the tanning of a beaver tail, which I'm not going to cover in this one. I'm going to show you the long skinny tail and the broad tail. So this is
That's big.
So this is a large beaver, and this is also a large beaver. One are more broad, one are long and skinny.
Oh.
Doesn't mean that it's a smaller, younger beaver. It just means there's two.
Are they just like
distinct
kind of like
varieties.
a different type, or just
They're
like
genetically
a different
different.
type breed, kind of?
Kind of, yeah. Wider and skinnier. And this is a smaller beaver.
Oh.
But I have the two halves, and they're all there, ready for my flushing machine, and then I'll put them in my pickle and everything, and there you go. So that's how you skin out a beaver tail. Awesome.